the older veteran player of this team. You know, been through so many iterations of LGD, played on VG as well, and finally he's come back to lead his own team last year. And then Monet, as you mentioned as well, like again the youth, you saw him play so well at TI, that Virtus Pro. I still remember the high ground Faceless Void, the BKB that basically turned the fight around. Like just such a mechanically skilled player, given this environment to thrive in.
In terms of Vega Squadron draft, they'll get their fans out of the way. They've got some experience on this team as well.
Yeah, they have a lot of veterans, but for some reason, it just feels like they haven't been able to put everything together. They have a guy on their team like Zayak who is relatively new to the scene, and he has performed. Like his Winter Wyvern the other day was absolutely monstrous, but for whatever reason, like good collection of stars, old and new, but at the same time, like I don't think they've exceeded their expectations quite yet.
They haven't gelled quite the way that we would have hoped.
So I'm not sure about this, but I think was Zayak drafting before? Because I remember I think Sharma was drafting back a few months ago.
Yeah, he
before
was.
TI.
He was like originally their captain. I think he was drafting for them at Dream League, and then they switched things up. And that's often like the first thing that changes, right? Is your drafter. When things aren't working out, you're gonna at least bring in a new drafter, like change some ideas and stuff like that.
I was wondering if the Gyro first ban would come out this game as well. I think just about every team that's played Vega at this tournament at least have been first banning it, because Vega will take it first phase if it's available, and LFY choosing to do that as well.
Yeah, they want to play a very safe and stable game. They don't want anything thrown at them. I think if you're the favorite team, you want as straightforward of a game as possible. There's not a whole lot of cheese in Dota, but at the same time, like you want to deny the enemy team's most comfortable pick, even if you're okay playing against it. That's why similar, like they get rid of the Razor so they don't get Razor Omni'd. If you haven't quite figured out like the way around that, obviously they were the team that got knocked down here in the first place by Razor Omni.
Yep. Do you think there's any hangover from that, Will, in the sense that they probably should have won that series?
Yeah, and that's the weird part is we say like they probably should have won, and they're likely the better team. Like, I think they might be a bit better than Newbie, but in terms of like the drafting, it wasn't quite there for them. And so I think it starts today, right, where you're going to start to shore those weaknesses back up, understand drafts a little bit more. Now you've had time to prepare. And for me, especially at TA, like drafting matters the most at really big events. Like all these minors and majors, like play of course will determine stuff, but it's the stability in drafting that'll determine how far a team goes, and that's why you need to make these mini adjustments. And it seems like they've learned and they've thought to themselves like this Omni pick is amazing. And on the flip side, Vega, take one of the best anti-healers in the game.
Do we feel there is an opportunity for Sneaks for Vega? I mean, you briefly touched on it. They were the team that did it in the upper bracket as well, but they could only do it in one of the 3 games.
Yeah, if you get brooded, it's a little bit unfortunate. The weird thing about Dota Cheese is like, you kind of always see stuff coming for the most part. Like you have time to respond to it. It's not like other games where, you know, you get like 6 pulled in StarCraft. You have like you can't really do anything about it because you don't know what's coming. But at least in Dota, like there are some clues and hints in the draft, and like even past the draft. Once the draft ends, you can kind of formulate a quick game plan at least, so you don't just get completely bombed out.
How important is Kips in that booze right now?
I think very. I think that having a coach, it depends on who you talk to. Like some people think that coaches or whatever, but obviously I wouldn't say that. Being a former coach, I think that it's always going to be a useful role.
I think it really depends on the team. Just as an example within the Chinese scene, so for VGJ Thunder, like ROTK basically does the drafting.
Yeah, it does, yeah. And
so he drafts and they go and play it, and sometimes, you know, the joke about, we're not really sure what he wanted, or maybe we can't play the draft that he wanted, or maybe he doesn't give us our comfort heroes because he wants us to learn to play a different way. Versus, I mean, even Vici Gaming, like, you know, I don't see Lanham relinquishing the drafting, but Mikasa is a big part of kind of helping him out with that. And obviously some coaches would probably focus on different things as well, whether it's lane mechanics, whatever the player's weaknesses are, versus not necessarily all the big picture stuff. It really depends on who you have in the team to fill that role already.
Yeah, very well put.
Loose ban from Vega.
Oh, I really like that Venge pick. I think this hero, I was thinking about it on the bus right here, because I was thinking about Mineski, the first game, and I was like, what is Mineski going to pick? And I thought they'd pick something like the Venge, because it's just such an all-around stable core. Like this hero, it comes with the stun, the swap is very nice, the Vengeance Aura is amazing, the Wave of Terror allows you to Roshan very early, just like a really well-balanced hero. Not like particularly strong in any way, like her scaling is kind of whatever, but in the laning phase, because she has a stun and it does high amount of damage, like she doesn't have these like glaring weaknesses that a lot of heroes have.
And self-sufficiency is usually the name of the game for them with Monet. Like again in the past, I wouldn't say they sacked them, but they would put him in pretty tough matchups. He'd often have to go catch up by himself later. So Venge solves that. He can kind of fight on his own. And then also, if you look at some of the other cores they like to run, if it's something like a DK or something else mid, like a hero that's more maybe for control than damage, especially for the Omni Knight as well, the Venge just naturally kind of improves your whole ability to output damage as a team.
Yeah, and I'm thinking right now of like offlaners for Vega. Last time they ran AA, they did something like the Axe, and it looks like LFY already banning out the majority of the offlaners because they have their own flavor pick. In the Omni Knight, they don't want to play against the Tide, and the Brewmaster is a really common choice nowadays against the Omni because you can dispel, you can just cycle in the Omni in the air, get rid of his threat entirely.
It often feels like there's, despite his popularity, there's like a lot of heroes that match up fairly well against the Omni Knight. Like you think of like Razor, or like you said, they're like an Ursa, like you mentioned the Brewmaster. It feels like it's a bit surprising almost at times that he's so highly valued, despite there being different ways to deal with it.
It's just his teamfight presence is pretty much unmatched. You give a hero a free BKB like that in itself is pretty amazing.
10 seconds remaining.
But for Vega, early tiny pick, I think this hero, even with some of the nerfs that we saw, is still incredibly strong. I think they need some more follow-up though. Like the Axe last time was the pick for them, but they have to go for the Rubik, which is the other support counter. Although now they...
Great against the Omni.
It is. But they don't have like a ultra hard lockdown. The majority of the damage is going to come from the tiny and the burst
10
game.
seconds remaining.
Like neither of those heroes are like a really catch sort of style, and more importantly, they have trouble ganking mid. It's not super easy for either of those heroes to roam aside. Like Rubik can make a gank happen, but he doesn't have a heavy amount of burst or anything like that. Yeah, it's a curious pick too, considering there is a AA on the other side.
Yeah,
So far from them.
You would normally think, like, again, the magical burst being usually good against Enchantress with the anti-heal, that this would be a difficult pickup. But I think often when they get the Enchantress, they look at the supports and they see, like, the vulnerabilities. And when you have that creep early on, like, the Rubik and AA really want no part of you. And that allows them to really just kind of do what they want with the lanes. Like, they have pretty strong lanes right now, especially with the Venge as well, coming online and being used.
So for Vega, they still need one in there too. The most common hero I've seen so far for G has been the Mirana. But I think that you can go a little bit more mobility heavy this game. Yeah. So they take Doom, the other offlaner that's we've seen quite often. Another good counter to the Omni, and more importantly, like you can always just eat Enchantress creeps when she sends about you. Why'd you laugh, by the way?
Oh, it feels like there's like Omni counters everywhere out of the woodworks.
But I mean, if you're focusing so hard, like 3 of your picks are meant to counter one hero, like then it kind of serves its purpose in that regard. Like it opened up the rest of the draft. And now we have Dragon Knight. Good pick. Very nice. High amount of regen.
The only 100% hero with 5 or more games at this tournament.
Really?
Yep.
Again, a signature hero for Super. Even if he has a bit of a rough lane, it's fine. He becomes very hard to kill at some point, and if he sits there, you leave him, he's able to take your tower. And that's kind of one of Super's signature. That's like always the type of hero that he plays. It feels like a tanky hero, a hero that maybe isn't flashy in lane but can take objectives. He has tempo. He can say at some point, guys, come behind me. Let's go take a push. We're really strong. And if you look at like this LFY lineup, I would say at about 10-15 minutes, if the lanes go well for them, you have that Omni Knight who's just unstoppable at that point in the game, and Enchantress, they can probably threaten high ground very early on.
Yeah. There's like I think Super is like the most flowcharty player I've ever seen in my life. It's like, you look at LFY's draft, is like, is DK banned? Then LFY...
DP.
Yeah, it's like, they're picking DP. Is DK not banned? Then they're picking DK. Like that's it's a branch.
Are they
it's
both
just one
banned? Medusa.
Medusa.
Yeah.
Did they take Medusa? Sniper.
Yeah.
That's free. Yeah.
Yeah, those are the top 4 like of his play over the last 3 months and this patch.
Yeah. So they take Witch Doctor. So the thing about AA is like, yes, he counters heals, but at the same time, like it's very easy to run over this hero, and once you use your ulti after the fact, heals are very useful. So in that regard, for example, we used to think of Jug being countered by like the healing ward, but in actuality it works the other way around, where the healing ward, after the presence of the ulti runs out, you just healing ward up, then you run through, and now AA is kind of a useless hero. So if you can kind of survive that initial burst, AA becomes a lot weaker, which is why, of course, Vega have drafted so heavily around the initial initiation. Like with this tiny, this Doom, they're kind of like all in on the first fight. And that's why LFY are picking something a little bit more counter-initiation heavy, a little bit more tanky, so they don't immediately get bursted down.
Final pick of the draft with Vega.
Ursa.
And they're going with an Ursa.
That's a sick Ursa game. That's a really nice Ursa game.
It's like pretty good lanes just about everywhere.
Yeah.
Mid probably becomes pretty hard for DK.
It's very good against the DK. It's very good against the Omni Knight in lane. If they decide to do it, like they'll win either of those lanes, regardless of where they put him. And if they put him mid, then he'll have a very nice game against Super.
Jack, final thoughts?
I like the synergy from LFY. They're a lot less ult dependent. They have a lot of stun. It feels like they have very good early game timings. If this Enchantress gets off the ground, Vega could see themselves losing towers very quickly, losing that Rosh, and just I like LFY's lineup, and I think that in terms of how they've played as a team, their general form, I would put them as the heavy favorite in this game.
Yeah, I don't think we can agree with that too much, can we? LFY find themselves in trouble in this best of one, but they are the big favourites. Can they confirm that status? Find out as we head to the arena with Lyrical and Lacoste.
Thank you so much, Paul. Oh my goodness gracious, that was amazing. But Lacoste, best of one, it's happening right now. LFY, obviously the favorites in this one, but Vega Squadron, they put together a scary draft. What do you think?
If LGD had Vega's draft, I'd go with their draft. But I don't know, it's a best of one, man. Anything can happen. It's still a Dota game.
Absolutely.
A lot at stake here, so.
A lot at stake, a lot on the line. You know, I was in the bus coming over in the early morning with the Vega Squadron team. G was 15 minutes late, roughly, so I had to give him a little bit of flame for that one. But he's here now, you know, he's showing up good. And I think that really, to me, these are both teams that Vega Squadron, I don't think they have any pressure on them going into this. I think that they're coming in as the underdogs. They know that. And LFY, you know, they just lost that series the other day, probably don't feel good about the way that that went. I don't know, underdogs sometimes show up good.
It's always easier to play as an underdog because pretty much you got nothing to lose if you win. I mean, it's a win-win situation for you as an underdog. They might actually catch the Super here.
They're looking for him there, the Dragon Knight, but he does back away. The rest of LFY just going to be able to walk back by the tower as well. Are they going to try and fight this? There's no way, right?
30 seconds.
No. Ursa was such a good pick. It counters both Enchantress and the Dragon Knight in a mid lane. Also, kind of a counter to Omni Knight, forcing him to use the GA. I was thinking about the build on Ursa because Guardian Angel, like, you can't dispel.
Right.
So Nullifier might be the item on Ursa later on. I mean, Doom is gonna try to find the Doom, obviously, on an Omni Knight. But I don't think I have. Okay, I'll keep that for later.
Yeah, as they are going to be able to find a quick little stun there. Afterlife still able to pick up the Bounty Rune. Yeah, Nullifier, though, it feels like it could be quite good this game.
Yeah, on Ursa. Also, AA works good in theory against the heals from Witch Doctor, Eng, Omni Knight, but you're not going to have a blast on 3 heroes. You can't set it up with these heroes, so in theory it works well, but those heals are going to come out eventually anyway.
For sure. Yeah, it's sort of tough, and maybe you could like do some shenanigans where you toss into Ice Blast, but that's always going to be a little bit tough to be consistent with, as G in the mid lane, holding on to his branch, which we've seen time and again, this Tiny just sort of dominate the mid lane. You had some choice words about the Tiny and the branches.
Oh yeah, well, the words were, Tiny looks like he stole a toy from his big brother, and big brother is actually coming home, and now he's afraid, panicking, don't know what to do. Look at him, just...
What a guy. I love Tiny. He's just a cute little...
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the matchup on mid, Tiny is actually having a better time than the Ursa maybe would. But the Ursa on the bottom lane will need some help eventually. Omni Knight is a strong laner, especially with the help from Enchantress. She already has Blightstone, which cripples Ursa a lot. He's a naturally high armor.
Yeah, and she's really quick, can move away from any type of right clicks that might come in from the real you, Mr. Aloha Dance down there bottom. But at least for the moment, you take a look at the CS across the board, and things looking okay for Vega. 9-1 right now on the Tiny in comparison to the 5-0 of the DK, and Although he's still getting harassed a little bit, he's able to pick up a couple CS here and there as the overpower comes out. A lot of damage. The real you needs to TP away from this one all the way back to the fountain.
Wow, this is really good for LFY. I'm not sure why Vega is contesting the top lane. Ursa is the one you want to give a free farm to so he can get good timing on a Blink Dagger and just snowball from there.
And they're just sort of set up over there by the runes, and in the meantime, Afterlife, I mean, he's having a nice time up there, 9 and 5 so far, as Slayer is going to rotate mid and I guess secure himself an Invis rune. Is there any chance for a kill at all there against the DK mid lane with that?
Maybe if he stands at the tower and he tosses him back, but it's unlikely that's going to happen. He might want to try to go for a chick snipe.
That could be pretty nice. Yeah, Slayer back there behind it.
Ursa's losing a lot of gold. He TP'd back and walking back to a lane, giving Omni Knight easy time. He's going to have phase boots when Ursa arrives, and going to be level 4 almost.
Yeah, this is terrifying. And you give Inflame this type of a start, and LFY are just going to be able to snowball with it.
I mean, securing Doom's farm is not that big of a deal with Devour, and later on with 150 gold talent. He always pretty much farms. They should just focus on giving Ursa. But I think it might be too late to actually win the bottom lane now.
That's really unfortunate. Monet was pinging out in the mid lane there. I think that they caught sight of the Rubik, so he doesn't make anything happen. And instead, going to come down bottom. They're going to try and bring him down. And well, the stomp to stop that, as they are not able to find the kill. So Omni going to continue that spree, and well, up top, they're dealing some damage here on the Afterlife, who forced back behind the tower.
Yeah, we didn't talk about Witch Doctor. Witch Doctor, pretty popular pick these days, counters one of the hottest picks right now, the Tide Hunter. And from what I know, it should work the same way against the Tiny. Because of the status resistance, it doesn't reduce the damage from Maledict, like the duration of Maledict.
Yeah, that's the one thing that's nice about it. At least you're able to deal that extra bit of damage. It's just over a shorter period of time. We saw there as well the rotation in. Aku trying to deal some damage. They decide to turn and fight and take him down. Slayer takes first blood.
Oh, there's... I guess he didn't think he can die there with 2 creep waves.
Oh, now again, Afterlife in some trouble. DDC able to force him back yet again, and Monet continuing the chase. He's not giving up on this one. Wave of Terror. Don't think that's going to be quite enough. It actually might be with one last tick. No, that was the Wave of Terror. Yeah.
Well, sadly, Witch Doctor was not level 3 there. With level 2 Maledict, he would have been dead.
So that rotation down bottom, does that sort of shore things up a little bit for you for Real You, as he's still sort of squaring off toe-to-toe against the Omni?
Well, look, Ange was kind of playing over aggressively there, and they punished her. I guess he didn't think he can die with 2 creep waves.
Yeah. Doesn't end up working out like that. Afterlife just going to use the Shrine there top. G continuing to have a nice time mid, although Super has been able to catch back up over the past couple of minutes here.
Look at Doom with Troll Creep, just being a fake Wraith King, sending those skeletons.
It's a hero we haven't seen in a while. Mr. Wraith King himself is...
People were trying to pick it for a couple of games, then they realized it's still the garbage tier hero, so... Yeah. TP coming out from Zayak on a mid lane, also one more TP. They want to kill the DK right now.
This would be a big one if they could find that kill onto Super, but meanwhile bottom lane instead it's going to be LFY chasing Vega Squadron. They find the kill onto the Bearman, so... Yeah,
really nice reading there from LFY. I guess Super should play cautiously now, because none of the heroes showed up on the bottom lane.
Well, they do find the Avalanche. They're going to be able to get the pullback as well. Still holding on to that one. G trying to take him low. They have the toss with the Omni Knight rotating in as well. I don't know if they're going to be able to find this kill. Super is too damn tanky.
It's still a DK. I mean, with the natural build on him, Soul Ring, that extra 6 strength plus Breathe Fire damage reduction. They don't have enough damage to actually take him down.
Yeah, now walking up the hill. This is not where you want to be, Mr. Slayer. Oh my god. That's a ton of damage there. Zayek can end up dying.
Well, Witch Doctor is one of the heroes that is super good at the laning stage and can also rotate, especially with the max Maledict build.
Yeah. Oh, and G Are they going to be able to find this as well? I mean, they've got a couple of hurl boulders. The small golem still 10-second cooldown on it, but they're going to be able to bring in the rest of them with the maledict again onto G. This hero who's naturally usually able to survive in the mid lane is just getting ran at here and looking like he might go down. DDC finds the finish.
Oh, plus they are going to pressure the tower. Siege creep is ready. They have 2 more creeps from Eng. This tower will go down to...
Oh god, and bottom lane, the real he wants to fight, he wants to take him down. Can they find the finish? No, he just gets punched in the face again. Inflame dominant.
Yeah, it seems like the bottom lane fell apart for Vega.
Well, maybe mid, Slayer, he's not left anywhere to go either. DDC finds another kill. G, TP's in, just wants to do something desperately for his team to try and pull it back, but it's just not looking like it's going to be.
Yeah, this tower is going down. They have no glyph whatsoever.
3,000 net worth lead.
One more
already.
hit.
7
afraid.
minutes.
One more, please. Super. Spit it. Spit the slime.
I just want to skip that last hit. Tiny deny. G on top of things. I mean, that's the best thing that's happened for Vega this game so far. It's not great.
Can we get a replay of that real quickly?
I don't think so. Well, 8 minutes in, you take a look at it, and the net worth is just fully inhabited by all of LFY. Omni Knight leading the way, and oh, there it is. Look at this. Oh, production always on point.
Thank you, production. The value.
Bottom lane, we've got ourselves a smoke as Vega Squadron want to make something happen. If they can find this kill on the Omni Knight, this would be big. They
Still
are
no points in GA, though.
And they do have Doom. Afterlife looking for it. He has a TP, and oh, he's just sort of scooting along there. They get the lift, they get the Doom, and finally something going right for Vega.
Yeah, a lot of commitment there. Just take down the Omni Knight. Maybe they can push out the top tower now. Okay, Doom is already there defending it. Ursa is gonna have a really hard time recovering. He's not the hero that can flash farm or anything. He needs the kills.
God. Look at Afterlife. They just dive him there. They go in for the swap, realizing that there's nobody else to help him out. The Wave of Terror comes through as well, but they are going to have to back out. Afterlife a bit too tanky for that one, although Super is also rotating down here. They might just be able to take the tower.
Yeah, Super with the Arcane Rune just popped it. Arcane Rune gone. They can actually take this tier 1 tower. I don't think Vega can contest. No 6 on AA. Oh, 6, not even level 4 on AA.
Oh, bottom lane, the real you forced to TP away again. Is he going to get out of there? No! Inflame kills him again.
Yeah, I don't know what Ursa needs to do to come back into the game. Maybe if they win a team fight somehow and manage to sneak into Roche pit, get a Roche, so we can actually get the levels and some farm from it.
I mean, they need something. There ain't no doubt about that. And the unfortunate part is that LFY has drafted this lineup that doesn't really give them any room. It feels like they're constantly just being suffocated. And every time they go out to the lane, they're getting ran at. Like, Afu's coming down here again with another creep. They're ready to push down this bottom tier 1.
Yeah, they know Doom is down, so they can actually take a team fight. There's no threat coming up from Ursa.
Oh, he manages to escape. Well played by AA.
Yeah, they can just continue, actually, try to siege tier 2 tower as well.
Whatever they want. All tier 1's gone. Vega Squadron looking for an answer as they're 5,000 net worth behind at 10 minutes into this game. This is a beatdown.
Yeah, that's 3 towers. 1 denied, though.
Gotta go back to the deny.
Super almost has drums with the power threads and magic wand.
They have drums on the Omni Knight too already.
Yeah, they just want to keep fighting, keep the pressure, get that advantage going.
Oh,
okay,
man,
they might
DDC.
find Tiny.
G, very lucky to just back out at that particular point. And, well, they're going to commit for the tier 2 down bottom, like you said. It's happening.
They need to make something happen on the top lane. Doom actually just TP top. They need to get something out of this. If Venge just plays careful, it's going to be pretty much a disaster for Vega at this point.
I mean, 4 heroes rotate up top. They're going to smoke now. It isn't under a ward or anything like that. The tier 2 tower is gone, though, and Monet still in the lane.
Monet should know about it, yeah. He's gone.
Well, LFY very prepared for any type of move that Vega could make, and while they smoke up, they aren't able to really find anything yet. They do drop a ward here, so they still see that Monet's in the area. They need to push out that creep wave first.
Supports on the side of Vega are still level 5. Once they get the level 6 on AA, maybe they can turn things around a little bit.
Oh,
Okay, this is
Monet.
a deep ward. They have a vision on Monet.
Yeah, this would be a really big pickup.
Yeah, but since they don't have any wards, LFY on that side is just being super careful about not going in too deep. Okay, Vega says it's enough.
They're going in for it. Ice Blast out, every dang thing, and Monet is going to drop. They actually dropped the Doom now as well onto the DK, but Omni Knight's starting to come in. They're able to get the turnaround. The Purification is already there. The Cask is bouncing. That's going to be another one down. They take down 2, and the Doom DK doing a lot.
I don't think they want to Doom the DK, to be honest. I mean, he just doomed the first guy who TP'd in after they blew up the Venge.
I mean, at the end of the day, they did kill Monet. Like, they found themselves the pickoff. Is that worth anything?
I don't think that changes pretty much anything. There's still 6k gold ahead. He's gonna have that Mask of Madness pretty soon, then he can just flash farm with it.
Yeah.
I mean, this is why Omni Knight is one of the hottest picks right now. He's top of the net worth, 6,000, 1k ahead of everyone, pretty much.
And I mean, do you feel like this was just because they left that Ursa down there on an island the whole time?
Yeah, because they left Ursa. They focused the tri lane with the Doom. Doom can recover easily, Ursa can't. And we see now that he can fight. I mean, Ursa is not a hero that he can actually run in and do stuff.
They can know about this, but the rotation comes in as well, and they're able to take him down rather rapidly as Slayer just going to try and breathe some fire on people, but it's not really going to amount to that much as LFY securing themselves Roshan. Aegis goes to Monet. Lacoste, where do they go from here?
They should just pressure the tier 2 mid and the top lane. They just need to push out the waves. Not the best wave clear. They have Dragonite and Omni, who just continues to farm on the bottom lane. They actually find the Slayer.
Yeah, he's in trouble, and well, unfortunately, I don't think he's getting out of that one. DDC, unstoppable streak right now. He is 6-0-2 on a Witch Doctor.
Well, Witch Doctor, pretty popular pick. I think he's gonna get picked more a lot because of that Maledict, as I already mentioned, against the Tidehunter, against Tiny, provides a lot of heal. What did he buy? Is that an urn? Yeah, that's an urn. So, a lot more heal. Also, you can upgrade it to Spirit Vessel, which is my favorite item of the new ones.
Yeah.
Works really well with Maledict, especially against the heroes like a Doom. Scorched Earth, you don't heal too much from it.
Well, another kill here, it's looking like his Afterlife getting ran down. They drop the Witch Doctor. Ward doesn't matter, but DDC picks up another one. One of the best heroes to ensure that those kills come out with Maledict.
Radiant's top tower is
I mean, Tiny is only in 1 kill. I mean, they have 3 kills, but still, that's a 33%. But I think he needed to be maybe a bit more active because bottom lane was kind of destroyed.
Yeah, it's really, really tough. And now it's just sort of like left, where do you go? They're going to try and find this pickoff on the in lane in the mid lane, but the Ice Blast off the mark. They are still running him down, but now with the Guardian Angel already out, can they actually further chase this? They're bringing in Monet, the swap back, keeping him alive. They turn the fight yet again. Is the real you going to get ran at and going to die to the Maledict and Monet as Slayer trying to turn this again, but it's not going to happen. LFY, too good, 2 on top of it, and they take him down.
Yeah, they almost catch the Tiny as well with Dragon Tail just being 1 second cooldown. I really don't see Vega Squadron getting back into this game. The tanky build on Omni Knight, he actually finished the Vanguard and has a casual plate mail. Jesus Christ.
He's a monster, well and truly. And now, tower being sieged, they're ready to keep this pressure on. Not really anything stopping them. In 15 minutes, they're looking to try and take down a tier 3 tower. This is the biggest win that we've seen so far in this tournament, it feels like. Is LFY just not stopping, and maybe they might have gone too far, but Monet just going to be repelled and still holding on to that Aegis.
They have a level 2 swap if they want to initiate with that.
Thinking about it. But they're just going to back out, playing it safe, as LFY going to continue the dominance, and the Enchantress and Witch Doctor are almost ahead of the Tiny at this point. This game has fallen far off the rails.
If they can somehow Doom, the Omni Knight, but there's so much heal coming out from Venge and even the level 1 heal from Witch Doctor. I don't really think they can turn this around anymore.
Yeah, you need the order of operations for winning a fight at this point is so absurdly long of a list that it's feeling pretty impossible. Maybe it starts, though, with Afterlife finding the Doom onto one of these guys. Doom comes out, Ice Blast down as well. Afterlife, though, it's all for naught. He is just going to get ran down here as well. Maledict damage is coming out the real you, trying to find a kill on the Witch Doctor. It's a big old bounty. He's able to walk away, and now they find the return kill instead. Slayer steals Repel, wants to run, but Super, they got him in his sights. He denies his creep as well as he chases forward. Slayer, where you going, buddy? Nowhere left to go. They find the finish. 3-17, 16,000 at 17 minutes.
Yeah, the next fight they take, if they win on the side of LFY, it's gonna be a GG.
My God. Humanity.
They don't have a Blink Dagger coming up on Ursa anytime soon. Neither does Doom. No big items. No nothing pretty much whatsoever.
Well, a lot of questions being raised at this point for Vega Squadron, and not a whole hell of a lot of answers as the first lane of Barracks falls in 17 minutes, and Tiny just going to be swapped back in. Slayer tries to save it with a cute little play, but it wasn't enough, and the Guardian Angel to turn it back around. LFY just going to back out here. Afterlife, they need to find something desperately, but it's just so hard to take this fight, and they find themselves the Ancient Apparition, Avalanche toss, nothing. Tickling.
They still have the Aegis on Venge.
Yeah, that just expires right now. And maybe that's what they were hoping to find the fight around, but it was a buyback from Rubik in that last exchange as well.
Omni Knight will have Shiva's guard in 30 seconds.
Yeah, and you compare that to the other offlaner, he's got drums and a Bassi. It's a rough one. It's a rough one, man. Even force staffing the creeps and then denying it in his face. Oh, Afu! Come on.
Even Witch Doctor went for 75 damage talent, so he can contribute to the push.
He's almost got a pipe!
Yeah.
DDC is 9-0-6.
I mean, they took down 6-7 towers and Raxes.
Yeah,
that's a lot of gold.
You said you don't really see a way back into it. I'm completely with you. This game is just feeling... I mean, you don't GG out if you're Vega Squadron. This is it. It's a best of one. There have been teams that have thrown bigger leads before, I think.
I don't think you can throw this game, ever.
Yeah.
There's no comeback mechanic. Doom still 1.5k away from Blink Dagger. Ursa 1k gold away. They're just pressuring tier 1 tower and they're gonna knock in their tier 3 on the bottom.
And I got a Sanj and Yasha on Tiny. They're still looking for a Blink Dagger on Ursa who just has Mask of Madness and Phase Boots. But the shrines are going down. The pipe is done on Witch Doctor at 20 minutes. Shiva's guard done for Omni Knight as well.
Yeah, it feels like LFY is playing turbo mode while Vega Squadron joined for the normal one.
It's pretty accurate right now. But 3-19, I almost said 20. I feel like I'm predicting the future here as Vega just looking for an opening. But again, we've got some of the best high ground sieging heroes in the game right now with the Venge having the Swappa ready. Mentioned Super.
Yeah, I don't see the way of them killing the Dragon Knight. Okay, Omni is Doom though.
Walking forward, this is a decent start. They're able to walk away from the Ice Blast, and now just backing out again. And if Vega chase too far, this is going to be terrible. Afterlife going to go down. Doom is about to wear off. Derilio is already at 10% HP. They've lost to no Rubik, no Doom. They have buyback, but using it at this point is just going to further accentuate the lead that they've got. And tier 3 towers going down as LFY looking to finish off this game.
They just tickled the Omni on his foot, and that was pretty much it.
Yeah, they really don't care at all right now. I think LFY are pissed off about that other series the other day and going to prove that they're not to be messed with right now. Well, Real You being slowed, being stunned, being killed, most likely. He is going to drop.
And that's it. GG's called by Slayer.
That was the biggest stomp that I've seen in several months.
Yeah, this was kind of brutal to watch.
It never felt like they had a chance. I don't even know what to say anymore about that one. Like, I don't think the panel got back to the viewing section. I don't know, man. That was a rough game. Lacoste, I mean, all right, so congratulations to LFY for sure. They were able to take that one in spectacular fashion. You know, they're going to end up playing Secret later, if I'm not mistaken, as well. Thinking about that series and where you expect it to go, what are you thinking?
LFY